Hi everyone, it's me, Eternally Elle, and welcome back to a new video. Today we're going to be talking about healing while in the storm, okay? I also got my Chipotle here. I got a burrito, and it's with the new Chipotle honey chicken, I think, or like the Chipotle hot honey chicken. I'm really excited to try this, actually. If you guys saw that one TikTok of me being like, oh, what I eat in a day is a vegetarian, I'm no longer a vegetarian. So ignore that. But, you know, it was a fun experience. I was just like, you know what, why don't I try it for one day? And then it was just like, I can't. I'm sorry, y'all. I love meat. I love meat. Hey, yo. I just wanted to talk about healing while in the storm. And this could, and I'm going to try and be as general as possible in this video. Like, I mean in terms of, like, either living in a toxic family, or you're living with an abusive or toxic partner and you just don't have the means to escape, whether that be financially, mentally, emotionally, whatever it is. I'm going to try and be as general as possible in this video because I understand that it can be hard, okay? Look at her. It can be extremely hard healing in a spot that hurt you or that broke you many times. And I get it, you know, because when you're constantly in an environment that makes you feel less worthy, that makes you feel like your feelings are invalid, you know, because I'm not very educated in terms of how physical abuse can affect a person. Of course, I know that like it can really damage a person's self-worth, their image, all of that stuff, but I'm more on the emotional, mental abuse side. Like, I know what that is like, and trust me, it can be really hard walking around with invisible scars all the time. And no, this is not me saying that, oh, emotional abuse is more abuse than physical. Like, no, abuse is abuse, period. Whether that's physical, mental, emotional, sexual, I don't care, okay? Abuse is abuse, and you should not be comparing abuse to each other, okay? I feel like mental and emotional abuse is very different in terms of physical and sexual, because for physical and sexual, you can at least see the scars, okay? You can see when someone's been physically hurting you or sexually hurting you sometimes. You know, maybe the physical aspect wasn't as hard where it doesn't show scars, but it's still there and you still have that trauma. But in terms of emotional and mental abuse, it's like you gaslight yourself, essentially. If I get anything in my teeth in this video, don't mention it. Emotional abuse is hard, okay? And when you're living in an environment where you want to heal, where you want to do the inner work, yet it's hard because you keep constantly being put down emotionally, you feel like your feelings aren't actually there, you feel like your feelings are invalid, you feel as though, oh, well, I'm not going through this kind of abuse, so I should be fine. You know, like, oh, I'm not getting beat on, I'm not getting hit, so why am I complaining about my abuse? And honestly, that's kind of been my thinking for a while, because it's just like, I'm always just like, oh, well, it can always be worse, or, oh, I know someone who deals with this, and that, and it's just like, babe, you don't want to compare your pain to other people, okay? You shouldn't be in this competitive mindset of being like, oh, well, that person feels more pain than me, so I have nothing to complain about, you know? So, first of all, I want you guys to all recognize that your pain is valid, no matter what, no matter the severity, no matter how much you've been going through it, okay? And this goes in terms of all abuse, okay? I don't care if you have a friend that you know gets physically abused and you get emotionally abused and you feel like yours isn't good enough because you know your friend's going through that. Your pain is valid, no matter what abuse you're going through. And I don't want you guys to compare the kind of shit that you guys went through while in the storm, okay? Because that's not doing you any right, and that's only going to cause you to gaslight yourself further and further into more pain. So I want to talk about some kind of ways that you guys can start healing while in the storm. You know, because I know there are a lot of quotes being like, oh, well, you can't heal in the same place that broke you. You can't heal in the same place that hurt you. Yeah, of course. But there are definitely some methods, survival methods, that you can do in order to keep your sanity while you're getting your shit together and when you can escape, when you can leave. My biggest tip when it comes to healing while in the storm, document it. Document all of it, okay? Get yourself a journal. Use your notes app. Use your iPad. I don't care. As long as you can write or type. Document everything that you've been through, okay? And here's why. Because when you've been going through abuse by someone who you thought was supposed to love you, who you thought was supposed to raise you, who you thought was supposed to want the best for you, in all aspects, not just physically, but emotionally as well, you tend to gaslight yourself. Being like, hey, well, it's not so bad, you know, there are definitely some good days with this person or with these people, so why should I keep worrying? Like, why should I still be upset about what they did to me so-and-so this long ago? Because it hurt you, babe. It hurt you. And time passing is not an apology. Okay, so I want you guys to start documenting your feelings. I want you guys to start writing down how you feel, letting it all out. There have been times where I've been journaling and I've been crying at the same time, and it was really hard for me to even articulate what I was feeling, but I was trying my absolute hardest because I knew that bottling up inside, keeping that anger inside and using my anger as a shield for sadness wasn't going to get me anywhere. And I noticed the less that I journal, the more irritated that I get, and the more I tend to take my anger out on people that don't deserve it. And that's literally what I do not want to turn into, because I've dealt with that before. It's not fair on the person that hasn't done anything wrong to you. Just because you can't fucking own your emotions and keep them in check, control them, and actually go through them properly, that's not that person's fault. That's on you, babe. You need to learn how to control your emotions. You need to learn how to regulate your emotions, okay? And for some reason, people take this to an extreme, being like, oh, control your emotions. That means turning them all off. No. We want to feel. We want to heal. We want to be able to do all of the things with our emotions that are healthy and that we should be doing. But the problem is, when you're emotionally dysfunctional, you take it out on people. You go numb. You don't feel any emotions. You avoid your emotions. You distract yourself instead of going head on and facing what you gotta face. And that's the real issue. You need emotional maturity, babe, in order to keep your emotional sanity. Because if you keep taking the bait, if you notice your abuser trying to start arguments with you for no reason, if you notice that they're trying to get an emotional reaction out of you, do not give in. I know it may feel good to scream back. I know it may feel good to clap back. But you're just going to end up hurting your own feelings, because that's what they want. They want you to react so that way they can paint you into the bad guy, so that they can be the victim. Do not do it, babe. And honestly, it's not worth your energy. Okay, if you notice that someone's trying to argue with you, and this could be anyone, if you notice that someone's just trying to argue with you to argue and to get under your skin, don't give in. It'll make them mad. Trust me, it'll make them mad. Cursing them out and giving them a reaction that they so desperately want isn't going to make you feel any better, and it's not going to make them feel any better, okay? Do not give them that reaction. Don't. Because they want that reaction. This chicken is really good. Besides journaling, I want you guys to find a safe space for yourself. Whether that be a Reddit subreddit, or an online community, or an online forum, or a TikToker, an artist, whoever it is, a cartoon. Whatever makes you feel most comfortable, whatever connects you with your inner child, whatever makes you feel seen and heard and not gaslit and confused, join that online community group. Because you guys have no idea, if it weren't for social media, if it weren't for the internet, I would be struggling like a motherfucker right now, okay? And that's why people back in the day, they were honestly just told to deal with their feelings and suck it up. That's why the older generations are like, oh, well, your kids are so sensitive nowadays, or oh, you guys are so emotional, blah, blah, blah. And it's just like, bitch, it's because you weren't allowed to be. We're human. We have to be emotional. We have to feel our feelings, okay? That's literally a part of the human experience. Feeling feelings. Understanding yourself. Use social media to your advantage. Do not use it to your disadvantage, girl, because quick side note, while you're healing in the storm, it can be really easy to develop harmful habits. Okay, whether you get those harmful habits from your abuser, whether you get them from yourself in terms of coping, you have to be careful what you decide to get onto on social media, because it can be a downward spiral from there. You can find unhealthy coping mechanisms. I think you guys know what I'm talking about. So you guys have to really be careful with that. Make sure you feel motivated after seeing it and not wanting to isolate all the time. Okay? Because how to know if the content is really for you and if you feel safe and it's not actually just a harmful coping mechanism? If you feel motivated after seeing it, if you feel safe, if you feel more loved, if you feel less alone, those are all signs that you have found an online community or something that comforts you for good in a healthy way. But if you find something on social media and you start using it as a coping mechanism and it just makes you feel more isolated, more alone, more worthless, ugly, whatever it is, that's unhealthy. And you need to get off of that shit immediately, because it can really spiral into something dangerous, life-threatening, whatever it is. Okay, so make sure you find online communities that truly understand you, that want to make you better, that see you and make you feel less alone. Because the majority of things that we go through, we're not the only ones going through them. There's definitely someone going through something similar to you. So use that to your advantage. Always make sure to hydrate too. That's also just life advice that we all need. Another thing that really helped me while healing during the storm was healing my inner child. Buying cute things that I loved as a kid and reminding myself that she's still here with me and how she is so proud of me and how strong I am, how much I've gone through, how resilient I am, how I was able to heal myself when I'm surrounded by people who never thought that I needed to heal. And they just kept denying my feelings. They kept denying the hurt that I felt for myself. Healing my inner child really helped me out. And this was in terms of me buying cute things that just reminded me that, hey, I'm just a little girl going through life. Okay? And I'm going to protect that little girl inside me for the rest of my life, because she deserves to live a happy and good life, and she would be so proud of me if she could see me right now. Just imagine talking to your inner self the way that you talk to yourself right now. Imagine calling your inner child ugly, stupid, or whatever you call yourself. You know, using self-deprecating jokes towards her. Imagine how she would feel. Imagine talking to your 5-year-old self that way. Being like, oh, you're so stupid, oh, you're worthless. She would literally cry. Okay? And when you call yourself those things, you literally cry. So why would you do that? You're like hurting that little girl's feelings, or you're hurting that little boy's feelings. Stop it. This is also another really important thing for you guys to understand. There are going to be bad days, and there are going to be good days. Just because the good days feel really good right now and you feel as though that you can just forgive your abuser for everything that they did to you, that's not going to erase the harm that's going to bubble up once you have a bad day. So even when you're having a good day, whether that's just on your own or for yourself, constantly remind yourself that this person isn't my person. This person has hurt me so many times, and just because I can't leave right now doesn't mean that I should start seeing this person in a better light. Take them as face value. Start seeing your abuser, instead of seeing your abusers as your family members or your partner or whoever, start seeing them as who they are. Human beings who don't have their shit figured out, who aren't healed, who decide to take anger out on other people because they can't take it out themselves. Understand that. Look at them as humans and as face value. Because if you keep seeing them as, oh, well, they're my parent, or oh, well, they're my husband, or oh, well, they're my wife, well, it's never going to get better if you keep giving them that title that they never deserved. It's never going to get better. There's something on my teeth, I can feel it. It's never going to get better. Start seeing them as this person that decided to do things to me that were not in my best interest, because they are so deeply hurt. Also, another important thing to understand is that stop trying to feel understood by them. Just stop. Because you're never going to be understood by someone who doesn't want to understand you. Look at it like this. If they can't even handle their own emotions, if they constantly avoid how they are feeling, why would you expect them to validate yours? Why would you expect them to see your emotions and to see you as a person and validate your feelings, being like, hey, everything's gonna be okay, when they can't even do that for themselves? It's like, how can you love me if you don't even love yourself? That's a quote for a reason. I know that it can be really hard, especially if this is for the parents version. Like, if you're watching this because you don't feel understood by your parents, or your parents are emotionally abusive or abusive in any way, it can be really hard knowing that the people that were supposed to raise you, that were supposed to love you and give you all the grace in the world, and they decided not to. It can be really hard. Literally, what is this person doing? I just had this one guy like come this way, and then he decided to do like a whole loop around a different way. I think he thought that way was the exit when it wasn't. But anyways, it can be really hard because you keep giving them that parent title. Don't give them that parent title. Give yourself that parent title. Hell, you parented yourself. You know, they may have parented you in physical ways, in ways that didn't get you killed, you know, like they gave you like food over your head. They gave you food on the table, they gave you water, they gave you a roof over your head, they gave you education. All of the basic needs of a child. They may have raised you in that way, but you were raising yourself in an emotional way, in a way that they couldn't. You're raising yourself in an emotional and mental way because they are mentally stunted. They are emotionally stunted. They will never understand you, babe. You are the scapegoat for a reason. You are the black sheep for a reason, because they know deep down that you are capable of great things, and they know that your ass is the cycle breaker. They know that you don't want to end up like them. They know that you're not going to end up like them in the long run. And that should be your motivation to heal and to do better, even while you're living with them, even while you're still living in the storm. You guys know how hard it was for me to just get out of bed and record these things when you guys have no idea what's going on in my personal life. No idea. Oh shit, my camera's heating up. Give me 1 second, y'all. I think I'm just gonna film from this angle because my camera keeps overheating because of the sun. But yeah, girl, you just gotta understand that these people, it can be really hard to accept that the people that you thought were supposed to love you don't love you, at least in the way that you need them to. You know, because healthy people, or healthy parents, or healthy people in a relationship, they want all of your needs met. Okay? And your needs aren't just physical. Otherwise, humans would be more like robots. You know, like if humans really just needed to eat, sleep, drink water, that's basically it. Like, we wouldn't be human without the emotional side of things, right? So being emotional is a part of being human. Okay? Having feelings is a part of being human. And I feel like a lot of people, the reason why they're on autopilot and the reason why they're so emotionally numb and turned off is because they want to be like robots, essentially. And it's just like, you cannot force something to be when it was never meant to be. Okay? When someone is emotionally mature, they can control their emotions, you know? And also understand that it's okay to express them. It's okay to not be around emotional dysfunction. And it's okay to be around people that make you feel good about yourself, that make you feel more motivated to do better, instead of being around people that are constantly causing these negative emotions like anxiety, fear, sadness, anger, all of these things. Okay, so it's important to understand that they see more emotional intelligence in you than they do themselves. That's why they deem you so scary. That's why they deem you as a threat. That's why they're intimidated by you. That's why a lot of toxic families have the scapegoat. That's why a lot of toxic families have the black sheep, or the person that just doesn't belong, and that actually sees through their structural bullshit, that sees through the lies, that sees through, you know, the quote-unquote normalcy in the family. You know, if you've always, like, your entire life, if you've always felt like that you were off, if you've always felt like everyone else just has the rules to the game life and you were never given those rules, I get you. We should be besties. But anyways, especially in your family, that's how you know you're the black sheep. That's how you know you're the scapegoat. And it can be really hard to accept that sometimes, because you just want to be like your sibling. You want to be like the golden child that the parent can always brag about or relate to, or the parent that can, or be the child that the parent can constantly talk shit to about the other kid or to the other parent. And none of those are healthy. Okay? None of those behaviors are healthy. Your parents should not be treating you like you guys are best friends. Your parents should never be treating you like a therapist. Your parents should never be coming to you being like, oh my god, your dad did this, 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 and that, or your mom did this, 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 and that. Your parents shouldn't be coming to you about, oh, how could you believe your sibling, they did this, 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 and that. Like, if your family is constantly talking about you behind your back, that's how you know you're the scapegoat. And that's how you know that they know something is off with you. And not off in terms of like, oh, something's wrong with you because you're the scapegoat and because you're being left out. No. Like, I'm speaking in terms of like you reacting to their emotional abuse. Like, whether that's isolating yourself, whether that's keeping to yourself, you know, they notice that. They talk about it, just not to you. Because why would they do that? They'd rather talk a shit about you behind your back, saying things like, oh, have you noticed what so-and-so? Oh, they've been off recently, or oh, they just haven't been speaking as much, or oh, I don't know what's going on in their lives. And instead of going to the actual fucking kid that seems to be struggling and is actually crying out for help, you instead try to come up with any sort of excuse in your brain to be like, oh, they're fine, they just want attention. Oh, they're fine, they probably just are on their period or something. Like, are we fucking serious right now? Are we so dead ass? That's what you come up with. And that just further proves, like, in a weird way, that kind of just proves to you, as the scapegoat, as the black sheep, as the person going through the abuse, that just proves to you that your pain is real. They see it. They know that you're going through a hard time because of them. And that's why they're not coming to you about it. Because they know damn well if they were to actually come to you about it and be like, hey, what's going on with you? And you actually tell the truth and you're open about it, being like, hey, well, I didn't like it when you did this. And then they automatically get defensive. That's why there's no point in trying to get them to understand you, because they never will. Or at least they don't want to. Like, deep down, they know why you're upset. They just don't want to accept it because they know that they're a part of the problem. So just keep that in mind when you're trying to heal, okay? See these people as people. Unhealed people that would rather take it out on somebody who never really did anything to them, who didn't ask to be here, all of these things. I hope you guys heal. I hope you guys feel better about this, because your pain is real. Your pain is valid. That's why you're looking up videos all the time about your situation, and then you still find yourself gaslighting yourself about it. And I just want you guys to know that your feelings are real. You're never alone in your feelings. There's definitely someone out here going through the same things that you are, and I want you guys to understand that. I want you guys to recognize that and be educated on this stuff, because it can be really hard to heal in a place that constantly broke you. But you just have to remember, you are doing this for your own good. You are doing this for your own sanity, and just think about it. How far you've come healing while in the storm. Imagine when you get out of that storm. Imagine when you finally make it over the last hurdle. You move out. You leave your toxic partner finally, because you're finally able to get back on your feet. And you're finally living in a space by yourself. In a space where you feel comfortable enough to express all of your emotions, to validate yourself, because who needs other people's validation, right? And you finally are just ready to fully heal, okay? And I honestly think that there's no such thing as being fully healed, like nothing can ever hurt you, or you're always happy. Like, no. I mean in terms of being comfortable with yourself, loving yourself, and understanding that there may be hard times ahead, but there are also damn good ones ahead as well. So I want you guys to understand that and remember that, and just know that if you are healing this far while in the storm, imagine once you're finally on your own, you're finally making your own decisions, your own choices, and you finally are choosing yourself and your peace. I wish you guys the best of luck in healing. I love you all so much.